When a cowboy saw her true worth, the shocking love story nobody ever told, the sun set over the dusty plains, painting the sky in a fiery orange as it prepared to be swallowed by the horizon. Suddenly, a shriek pierced the air, echoing like gunshots across the wide open land. Was it a coyote? Or something far worse? In the small town of Silver Oak, secrets hid in the shadows. But none were as shocking as what happened when a grizzled cowboy named Jake Thornton laid eyes on Bella, the woman whose worth was masked beneath layers of dirt and heartache. She was a sight to behold, with messy braids and eyes that sparkled like diamonds caught in a spider's web. But there was more to her. Whispers buzzed like cicadas. Jake had heard the rumors swirling through the saloon, tales of Bella's past wrapped in mystery. They said she could speak to animals, her hands seemingly guiding lost ranch horses as if they were her own. Folks said she once saved a child from drowning in the river, pulling him from the current with a strength no one could fathom. But the strangest of all, they said she was touched by the spirits of the land, a fact she bore with a quiet pride and a knowing smile. Men who approached her quickly backed off, unable to handle the weight of her unearthly aura. The tension in the air thickened with every moment Jake spent watching her. He could almost feel the electric pull between them, like a storm brewing miles out just waiting to unleash its fury. What was she hiding? Why did she keep to herself, always observing at a distance, like the last star before dawn? He sensed her secrets were enough to wrap him in shadows, but smother him with wonder. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash the like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As Jake stepped closer, his heart raced. He could see the softness in her gaze, the way the corner of her lips lifted ever so slightly when she caught him staring. But then, just like that, doubt tugged at him. What if she truly was a mystery he couldn't unravel? The whispers of the townsfolk echoed in his mind, and the more he learned about her, the more he feared being ensnared in her extraordinary web. And then it happened. A loud crash shattered the silence. A rustle of branches. A pair of eyes glinted in the fading light, watching them. Jake's breath hitched in his throat. Bella turned slowly, the color draining from her face as the presence loomed closer. What if this was the moment everything changed? What would they uncover? Would Bella's secrets come to light, or would it all slip away into the encroaching night? A chill raced down Jake's spine as the eyes glimmered in the deepening dusk. They were not the eyes of a coyote, they were something darker, more predatory. Each breath caught in his throat. He clutched Bella's arm tightly, shielding her from whatever approached. She leaned into him for just a moment, drawing strength, and it sent his heart racing with both fear and an aching longing. "Stay behind me," he whispered, his voice hoarse. Could he protect her from whatever menace this was? Jake's instincts screamed for him to take action, to advance and confront the danger. But as the creature stepped into view, hesitance gripped him. It was no wild animal but a man, a ragged figure, cloaked in shadows, with a face that seemed carved from granite. Well, the stranger drawled, his voice rough like gravel. A cowboy and his sweetheart? Didn't expect to find anyone out here. Jake's mind raced. He didn't want to show the fear bubbling inside him. His fingers twitched toward the revolver strapped to his hip. "What do you want?" he demanded, fighting to keep his voice steady. The man let out a mocking chuckle, taking a step closer. "Just a bit of company. You see, this ain't safe territory, sweetheart. Think you're lost?" Bella's grip on Jake tightened, her eyes wide and unblinking. She was reading something he couldn't. "What do you want from us?" she asked, her voice steadier than Jake felt. The man's eyes flickered to her, a predator's gaze settling on easy prey. "I want what every other man wants, a story, a secret. And I reckon you have a tale worth telling, miss." Jake felt a surge of protective fury. "Leave her alone," he spat, taking a step forward. The man raised an eyebrow, amused and unfazed by Jake's bravado. "You've heard the tales. The girl who talks to animals, who saves the lost. But little do folks know there's a darker side to those gifts. He leaned in closer, a smirk dancing across his lips. Your precious Bella here is more connected than you realize. Why do you think she has been exiled to the fringes of this town? Be careful, Cowboy. The secret she holds could tear this place apart. An icy dread twisted in Jake's stomach. Bella's past was haunting her, and it was far worse than he could imagine. Her secrets, those whispers he couldn't quite discern, were not merely tales but harbingers of a brewing storm. Enough! Bella snapped, stepping forward with a fierce determination that flickered like firelight in her eyes. You don't know anything about me. The spirits don't haunt me, they guide me. The man's expression twisted, surprise flickering across his hardened features. Spirits? Or is it the darkness you call upon that protects you? You play a dangerous game, little girl. What are you talking about? Jake interjected, feeling the urgency clamoring in the pit of his stomach. But before the man could reply, the sound of hooves thundered in the distance, a chaotic stampede of horses charging toward them. The stranger's eyes widened and a manic gleam sparked within them before he grinned menacingly. I think your friends are here, he sneered, backing into the shadows as the galloping figures drew nearer. In the chaos of the wild stallions, Jake turned to Bella. What did he mean? What darkness? But Bella's expression told him everything he feared. Her secrets, layered in shadows, were about to break free. Would she embrace the truth that lingered just beyond her reach, or would the darkness consume them both? As the dust settled, a loud crack split the air, silencing everything, but it was just the beginning of their reckoning. The thunder of hooves rattled through the air, sending dust pluming around them like a storm preparing to break. Jake's heart raced as he searched the shadows for any sign of danger, any sinister force lurking behind those frantic gallops. Just as quickly as it began, the noise ceased, the world falling eerily quiet. Jake, Bella whispered, her voice trembled like the flicker of a candle caught in a draft. Her fingers slipped free from his grip, and she took a step toward the approaching figures. Wait here. No! He snapped, grabbing her arm again, harder this time. You can't go out there alone. We don't know who, but Bella's gaze was locked on the horizon. I need to see. The desperate intensity in her eyes frightened him more than the mysterious figure had. A flash of movement broke through the dust. A group of riders appeared, their horses kicking up clouds as they neared. Leading the charge was a woman with a wild mane of hair and a fierce expression. Her eyes, sharp as arrows, scanned the ground before locking onto Bella. Bella! The woman shouted, urgency in her tone that sliced right through the tension hanging in the air. We come for you. Jake let go of Bella's arm, confusion and concern battling within him. Who are they? They're my friends, Bella replied, incredulous at his doubt. They'll help us. But the look she wore was a mask of uncertainty, shadows lurking in the depths of her expression. The riders halted abruptly, raising clouds of dust as they dismounted with alarming swiftness. The woman strode over to Bella, gripping her shoulders with the kind of familiarity that spoke of a bond forged in shared trials. Did you see him? The rider asked, scanning the area frantically. Who? What are you talking about? Jake pushed forward, a fierce protectiveness stirring like a wildfire in his chest. The woman, her gaze never wavering from Bella, seemed to ignore him. He's looking for you. He knows about your gifts. Jake's blood ran cold. He felt exposed at her words, as if they had peeled back his skin and revealed the beating heart of his worst fears. Gifts? He echoed, dread creeping into his voice. Bella turned to him, eyes wide. I never wanted to keep this from you, but I never fully understood myself. That man, he was right. I can see things, hear things. It goes deeper than just whispers. They protect me, yes, but her voice trembled, cracking under the weight of her confession. The woman stepped forward, urgency pushing her tone. We don't have time. If he finds you first, who is he? Jake demanded, pushing through the tension like he was breaking the surface of a deep pool. The rider glanced around, nervous energy palpable as the air thickened. He's a collector of stories. A hunter of souls. He sees beauty in your pain, Bella, and he wants it for himself. We have to move now. Fear gripped Jake, squeezing tighter than any bandit snooze. The darkness the stranger hinted at surged back to life in his mind. The realization loomed: could Bella's gifts, her ties to the spirit world, be a curse wrapped in the guise of power? Stay close to me, Bella. Jake's voice held a firm edge, pulling at the threads of courage he didn't feel. With a nod, she turned to the riders, confusion still coloring her face. We can't just run. What if he don't think? The woman snapped, fire in her eyes. We must go now, before the pack closes in. A rustling echoed through the surrounding woods, then one more crack snapped like thunder. A figure emerged through the haze of dust, a sinister smile stretching across the man from moments ago. He raised a hand, freezing them in place with an expression that screamed of dismay and dark delight. You can't escape your destiny, Bella. Jake's heart pounded in rhythm with the terror unfolding. The pull of the unknown wrapped around them both like a storm, and it was clear they were on the brink of something profound and possibly deadly. He reached for Bella's hand, determined to shield her from whatever fate awaited. But would they find a way to unravel the truth behind her powers, or would the darkness claim them both? Before dawn broke? The air crackled with tension, heavier now, as the figure stepped forward, his smile stretching unnaturally. He took a measured breath, exuding an unsettling calm that made Jake's skin crawl. Bella, he crooned, his voice smooth yet dripping with malice. Don't be afraid. I'm only here to help you realize your true potential. Jake felt the hairs on the back of his neck rise. What do you want with her? He shouted, stepping protectively in front of Bella. The man chuckled, a low sound that echoed ominously through the quiet. Want? Oh, Jake. It's not a matter of want. It's about destiny. Bella was meant for greatness, and I am simply the one to guide her there. Bella's eyes widened, panic dancing beneath the surface. You're lying. Am I? He took another step closer, the distance between them shrinking like a noose. I've watched you for so long, Bella. Your gifts are a beacon. And it makes you a target, too. But with me, you don't have to hide. You could be so much more. Shut up. Jake yelled, rage boiling over. You're a monster. You're twisting her dreams. The figure tilted his head, feigning contemplation. Dreams? Or burdens? He shot back, a flicker of irritation behind his dark eyes. I'm merely helping her shed the weight of ignorance. The woman beside Bella, still gripping her shoulders tightly, glanced at Jake, her eyes full of frantic worry. We need to move, now. He is not just a collector, he is a danger. You cannot bargain with darkness. But the man laughed, a sharp, jagged sound that cut through the evening stillness. Move? Where could you possibly hide from me? I was drawn to you, Bella, and now I've found you. Let us go. The rider yelled, dragging Bella backward. Run! Jake moved instinctively, trying to block their path as the sinister man's expression darkened, his eyes flashing with anger. You think you can protect her? He spat, the calmness evaporating. You don't even know what she is capable of. A flicker of uncertainty crossed Bella's face. Jake felt his heart drop. Bella, please. We'll figure this out together. The woman's grip on Bella tightened, desperation marring her features. Listen to me. This isn't just about you. You have to trust us. Jake couldn't breathe. He grabbed Bella by the shoulders, forcing her to look at him. Whatever happens, I'm not letting him take you. The man scoffed, raising his hands to his side in mock surrender. Oh, how touching. But how long can you protect her from the truth? The powers she holds within are not meant for this world. Suddenly, a blast of energy erupted from Bella, visible only in a shimmer of air, pushing everyone back. The force knocked Jake to the ground, his body hitting the earth hard. Reeling, he looked up to see Bella glowing faintly, confusion etched across her face as she struggled to control the surge. Bella! He shouted, pain flaring in his chest as he pushed himself up, desperation clawing at him. You need to focus. We can't let him win. The figure snarled, extending his hand toward Bella, his power drawn like a moth to flame. You belong to me. Give in to what you are. No! She cried. The light surrounding her intensified, catching even the sinister man off guard. Before Jake could react, she was engulfed in a blinding aura, and the world around them blurred. Shadows began to swirl, enveloping the figure, leaving his silhouette twisted and distorted. Then everything went quiet, the light dimmed, leaving only the dust swirling in the aftermath. Bella? Jake's voice trembled as he squinted into the fading glow. He could see her standing there, but something was different. The eyes he loved, the ones he fought for, shimmered with an intensity he hadn't seen before. We have to go, she said softly, resolved. They 1T stopped now. But Jake could only stare, heart racing. Had she just tapped into something darker? Something they couldn't come back from? The wind picked up around them, carrying whispers of danger. With every heartbeat, the stakes grew higher, and he prayed they wouldn't regret their next move. Jake? Bella's voice broke through, finally pulling him from his stupor. We have a choice now. Are you ready to face it? A storm was brewing, and as they prepared to flee, the question loomed larger than ever. Would they harness her power and take the fight to him, or let the darkness claim them instead? As they stood in the wake of the chaos, Jake's heart thundered in his chest. He could feel the energy crackling in the air, a raw power coursing through Bella. It terrified him. What had she unleashed? Bella, he rasped, desperate to comprehend. What did you just do? She turned, eyes shimmering with an unsettling mix of strength and vulnerability. I don't know. It just happened. I felt it inside me, and I didn't want him to take me. Her hands trembled slightly, the glow around her fading as confusion threatened to engulf her. Jake stepped closer, trying to gauge what this transformation meant. What if it's too much? He asked, worry lacing his voice. What if you can't control it? A shadow passed over her face, and in that moment, the weight of their situation came crashing down. They weren't just running from the man who had sought her out. They were on the brink of something colossal, something that could change everything. They turned to run, but the stagnant air burst with an echo of laughter. The figure materialized from the haze, his smile more twisted than before. Oh, my dear Bella. Did you think you could escape so easily? What you just tasted, it's only the beginning. Jake felt a chill creep up his spine. Stay back. He shouted, gripping Bella's arm tightly as he scanned their surroundings for escape routes. Stay back? The man's voice dripped with amusement. You truly believe you can shield her from her own nature? What an entertaining little fantasy. Jake's resolve hardened. We 1T let you take her. Take her? The man's laughter flared, cutting through the night. I'm not taking her, Jake. I'm setting her free. That fire inside her is something that she cannot deny. It's far too powerful to keep hidden. And deep down, Bella knows it. The wind howled suddenly, swirling with a coldness that wound around Jake's heart. He could feel Bella's fear and hesitation mixing with that intense energy, a dance of discord that pulled at him, begging for resolution. Bella, he said, his voice low and steady, look at me. Trust me. We will figure this out together. Whatever is in you, we can face it. The hesitation in her eyes flickered like a candle flame, casting shadows across her features. But in that moment, Jake saw the strength of the girl he loved. The girl who had always believed in the goodness of the world, who had never shied away from a challenge even when the odds were against her. The figure stepped closer, the air thickening with dread. What a touching display of affection. But remember, Jake, love 1T save you from what is destined to occur. Bella's true potential is not just a gift, it's a curse. The weight of his words hung heavy in the air. Doubt seeped into Jake's heart like poisonous ivy, and he wanted to shake it off. He had to believe in her. Bella, he whispered, do you want this? Do you want to explore this power? The question hung between them, aching with a reality they had to face. I don't know, she breathed, doubt casting shadows across her face. What if it consumes me? That was the crux of it. As the figure's features twisted with anticipation, Jake felt the clock ticking. They had to decide and fast. "Whatever happens, I'm here," he assured her, squeezing her hand as they stood against the rising tide of dread. With a defiant spark igniting within her, Bella took a deep breath, grounding herself. "Then let us find out what it means to be free." As she spoke, the ground trembled beneath their feet. Shadows twisted around them, remnants of the darkness they had faced clutching at the corners of their reality. But instead of fear, a strange calm settled over Jake, and then, without warning, Bella's aura flared once again, and the world was engulfed in a blinding light. When the brightness faded, they stood alone, or so they thought. But the looming shadow of the figure remained, now just a murmur in the distance, yet still holding on to its threatening presence. The decision had been made. They chose to embrace the unknown. But as the weight of their choice bore down on them, Jake realized they were far from safe.in. The silence that followed, something shifted in the air. "What have we awakened?" he murmured, dread swirling within him. What lay beyond the light, and how would they confront it now? Bella's breath caught in her throat. The vibrant light had receded, but the remnants of its warmth still clung to her like an unwelcome embrace, igniting every nerve in her body. Jake's hand remained firm around hers, his grip both a lifeline and a reminder of their reality. "Where are we?" she whispered, scanning the desolate landscape that enveloped them. The world now looked unfamiliar. Dark shadows twisted among the trees, casting creepy silhouettes in the moonlight. "I don't know," Jake replied, his voice tight with tension. "But we need to keep moving. Wherever we are, it feels wrong." Just then, the laughter returned, echoing through the void like a sinister melody. The figure materialized once more, as confident as a ghost. "Didn't I tell you? You can't run from what you've awakened, Bella. It's all around you now. It was there, waiting for you to embrace it." Panic surged within Bella. "I didn't want this." She pressed, stepping back as she felt the ground shift beneath her. "You have no idea what you've unleashed." The shadows began to writhe, thickening and coiling like serpents coming to life. Jake stepped protectively in front of her, his stance firm. "Back off. You won't scare us." The man leaned forward, amusement dancing in his eyes. "Ah, bravado. How charming. But this isn't about fear. This is about awakening the power within. And you," he said, pointing at Bella, "are extraordinary. Whether you like it or not, that fire inside you is here to stay." The ground shuddered again, the trees swaying ominously. Jake turned to Bella, a fierce determination igniting in his gaze. "You have to focus. Remember what you felt? That power, that rush? It could protect us. But what if it consumes me?" she pleaded, fear flooding her voice. "I don't want to hurt anyone." "Then we won't let it," Jake replied, his voice steady. "We are stronger together. You don't have to face this alone." Bella took a shaky breath, trying to ignore the shadows creeping closer, whispering her doubts and insecurities. "What if I can't control it? What if I lose you?" Jake's expression softened, and he reached for her face, his thumb brushing her cheek. "You won't lose me. I'm not going anywhere. But we have to make a decision." Around them, the shadows began to pulse, as if breathing in rhythm to Bella's racing heart. The sinister figure watched with delight, his anticipation tangible. "This is it, Bella," he taunted. "The moment of truth. Are you going to embrace who you truly are, or remain trapped like a caged bird?" A fire ignited behind her eyes, her pulse quickening. Jake was right. She couldn't keep running. Not anymore. Not from herself, nor from this destiny that clawed at her very essence. Tension crackled in the air, vibrant and demanding. Bella felt the energy swirl within her, pooling at her fingertips. "I choose to be free," she shouted, and with that declaration, she reached deep inside to grasp the power that lay waiting. As she did, energy exploded from her palms, illuminating the darkened forest. The shadows shrank back, momentarily stunned as tendrils of light radiated outward. Jake's eyes widened, awe replacing fear. Bella! He shouted, a mix of disbelief and pride in his voice. You're doing it! But even as she reveled in this newfound strength, the man's laughter roared through the clearing, cutting through her moment of triumph like glass. You think this is victory? Oh, my dear, I haven't even begun to show you the darkness yet. Suddenly, the earth beneath them cracked violently, a fissure opening up like a gaping maw. Jake stumbled, clutching Bella's hand tighter. We need to move. He yelled, adrenaline surging. Bella closed her eyes, focusing once more on the light that ignited inside her. Together, they could harness it. Together, they could fight, but the ground trembled again. This time, it felt like the very world was tearing apart. Follow me! She cried, and in a burst of light, they ran deeper into the whirlwind of shadows, hoping desperately to outrun the darkness hunting them. Yet as they dashed forward, a chilling thought gnawed at Bella's mind. What? Had she truly awakened, and at what cost? Little did they know, the shadows had much more in store than they anticipated. The darkness closed in around them, a living shroud that pulsed with every frantic heartbeat. Bella could feel the shadows crawling up her legs, whispering doubts that made her skin prickle. She focused on the light, summoning it as they ran, but was it enough? Bella, keep running. Jake urged, yanking her along with him. His grip was firm, grounding her in the chaos. Look ahead. We need to reach that clearing. The trees thinned up ahead, and Bella strained to see what lay beyond. But there was no time to ponder. Behind them, the shadows writhed, letting out chilling, hungry howls that sent shivers down her spine. Faster! Jake shouted, his eyes darting back in panic. They pushed forward, and the ground rumbled beneath their feet. Angry and unsettled, finally bursting into the clearing, they skidded to a halt. Bella gasped at the sight before them. It was a glimmering pool of water, the surface shimmering like glass beneath the moonlight. But it wasn't the water that held her attention, it was the fog that hung about it like a haunting mist, twisting and flickering with a life of its own. Why does it feel like it's breathing? She murmured, everything inside her instinctively screaming to retreat. Jake's eyes widened. Whatever's in there, it's connected to you. We have to figure out what it wants. Suddenly, the laughter rang out again, echoing from all directions. The sinister figure emerged from the darkness, stepping toward them as if weaving through the shadows. Regrettably, you've entered my domain. The light you think you wield is nothing compared to what's lurking in the depths. Bella felt panic surge. What do you want from us? She shouted, trying to maintain her composure. He grinned, eyes gleaming with malicious delight. Oh, my sweet Bella. I want to show you what true power looks like. This water holds the key to your awakening. Dive in, and all will be revealed. No! Jake snapped, stepping closer to Bella protectively. She is not going to give in to your twisted games. The figure laughed again, a low growl that resonated with the shadows surrounding them. You misunderstand. I offer her a chance to embrace her true self during this dance of light and dark. As if responding to his words, the fog thickened, turning darker, swirling in hypnotic patterns. Bella felt its pull, a seductive call to the depths. She stumbled, feeling almost entranced. There was a power bubbling within her, mingling with the darkness, battling for control. Don't listen to him! Jake shouted, grabbing her arm as she swayed. You know he is trying to manipulate you. His voice broke through the haze, bringing her back from the edge of that dark call. The fog receded slightly, and Bella blinked away the confusion. You're right. I won. Let him win. But just as she regained her focus, a sharp crack of thunder boomed overhead. The ground shook violently, and the water erupted, shooting up like geysers, crashing against the sky in a cascade of brilliant light and shadow. Now, dear Bella, the figure called, his voice dripping with satisfaction. The choice is yours. Face the darkness and discover your true self, or drown in it. Bella's heart raced as she felt the raw energy pulsing through her, fighting to flow into this dark abyss. It would engulf her, consume everything she cared about. But if she faced it, Jake? She cried, her voice trembling with urgency. I can't do this alone. I'm here. He shouted, urgency lacing his tone. We'll face it together. The shadows coiled around them like tendrils, binding, suffocating. The laughter of the figure seemed to reverberate off the trees, creating a symphony of terror that echoed in her mind. Together she whispered, determination climbing inside her like a wildfire. The flames of power flickered within her once more, and as the water boiled and churned with otherworldly energy, she reached out. Could their light be strong enough to combat the darkness waiting patiently beneath the surface? Little did she know the depths that lurked within would test not only her understanding of power but the very essence of her soul. Would they truly stand united, or would the darkness rip them apart before they truly understood their strength? Bella's breath caught in her throat, the air thick with tension as the geysers of swirling water erupted higher, and in that moment, time seemed to stand still. It was as if the universe was holding its breath, waiting to see which way the scales would tip. "Hold on!" Jake yelled, his grip tightening around her arm, grounding her against the chaos around them. The figure smiled cruelly, relishing their moment of hesitation. "Do you feel it, Bella?" he taunted, the darkness swirling with delight. "The power within you yearns to break free. Don't resist it, let it consume you." Each thunderous heartbeat echoed in her ears, an agonizing reminder of the choice before her. The shadows pulsed and curled, inviting her to embrace the chaos. It felt intoxicating, a rush of raw energy that tugged at her core. "Think, Bella. You can't trust him," Jake shouted, fire burning in his eyes. "You know what you have to do. Fight it. Fight it." Those words bounced around her mind like a lifeline thrown into turbulent waters. Could she truly harness the light that opposed this relentless darkness? But at what cost? Her heart whispered, a chill overcoming her resolve. She glanced at Jake, his face filled with concern and defiance, and it anchored her. With a sudden surge of clarity, she clutched his hand tighter. "No. I refuse to let him win." The shadows writhed, and with that proclamation, Bella drew upon her light, a warm glow that flared within her chest, pushing back the darkness that clawed at the edges of her consciousness. "This is your last chance to embrace your true self, dear Bella." The figure taunted, stepping closer, his voice a velvety whisper that slithered into her thoughts. "All you need to do is give in. How simple it would be. Shut up." Bella screamed, channeling the swirling power around her. The water began to glow, illuminating the dark clearing with a blinding light that fought against the shadows. As if enraged, the sinister figure lunged forward, his arms reaching for her. But at that moment, Bella's light exploded outward, a radiant beacon that sent shockwaves through the clearing, throwing the figure back with an agonized shriek. "Together, Jake!" she shouted, feeling the energy flow stronger when they stood united. He stepped beside her, raising his arm in solidarity. The light intensified, subduing the tumultuous darkness that surrounded them. The fog began to part, the grotesque whispers fading into silence, but just as hope flickered in her heart, the figure rose again. His face contorted in fury, he extended a hand, summoning the shadows with a force that threatened to engulf everything. "No!" Bella yelled, her voice steady, unyielding. "We won. Back down." With every ounce of will, she plunged her hand into the shimmering pool, feeling the cool liquid embrace her skin, becoming one with the light she had crafted. The water surged higher, illuminating the entire clearing, banishing the shadow from their hearts. The figure faltered, his face twisting in disbelief, but then a glimmer of something darker crossed his features. "You think you've won? This is merely a spark. The true battle lies ahead." As he vanished into the shadows, a heavy silence enveloped them, leaving the two of them panting in their newfound victory. But that victory felt hollow, a veil over the ominous darkness still lurking out of reach. "Bella," Jake whispered, his eyes searching hers. What was that? What happens now?" Bella looked toward the pool, the surface shifting with an eerie calm. All they had fought still lingered in the air, unresolved. What had they awoken? "I don't know," Bella admitted, fear creeping into her voice. "But if he was right about the battle ahead, then we haven't seen the last of him. Not by a long shot." As the sound of distant laughter echoed, Bella shivered, a premonition curling in her gut. What awaited them next was a question they both dreaded, and just then, a shadow flickered at the corner of her vision, the air thickening with uncertainty. What would emerge from the depths of that dark water? Would they be ready, or were they already drawing closer to their doom? The shadow shifted, brushing against the edge of Bella's consciousness like cold fingers, tugging at her carefully built resolve. She stepped back, holding Jake's hand tighter as the air thickened with an unsettling energy. Then, as if in confirmation of their worst fears, a low, guttural laugh rippled through the clearing. "What do you want from us?" Jake demanded, his voice strained but challenging. The shadows danced around them, darkening the once bright space, curling and twisting like inky smoke. "Your light is a flicker in a profound darkness," the figure's voice slithered back into the fray, emerging from the depths like a sinister fog. "But soon it will be extinguished. I've only just begun." Bella felt the chill of dread crawl up her spine. For every ounce of power she had tapped into, a darker force loomed just beneath the surface. "We won't let that happen. We'll fight." "Fight? You can't even comprehend the depths of this impending storm." He sneered, his eyes glinting like shards of broken glass. "You've awakened an ancient force, Bella. One that will claim you and your little cowboy here." Jake stepped in front of her as if to shield her, the fierce determination in his posture both terrifying and exhilarating. "You're wrong. She's not yours to take." A flicker of defiance ignited within Bella. "And whatever you think you've unleashed, we'll contain it. Together." The atmosphere crackled as she summoned the light again, only to feel it wane, flickering under the weight of the looming darkness. Panic flared in her chest. She had tasted victory once, the warmth of hope coursing through her veins, but this was different. The shadows were no longer content to linger, they craved dominance. Suddenly, the water beneath them roiled violently, erupting in furious waves that lashed out, ready to consume them. The figure laughed again, a hideous sound that froze Bella's heartbeat. "You think mere light can combat the tide of despair? You are woefully mistaken." "Jake, we need to leave," Bella urged, her heart racing as the water began to swirl violently. "Now!" But before they could take even a few steps back, the ground rumbled. The figure raised his hands, sending a shockwave that knocked them both off balance. Bella fell hard, the impact jolting her senses. Dazed, she looked around, searching for Jake. He was there, still standing firm, but the shadows were rising around him, dragging him down. Desperation fueled her as she scrambled to her feet. "Jake! Bella!" he called, his voice strained. The light from her chest pulsed, but it dimmed with every passing second. With a surge of adrenaline, Bella pushed toward him, the air shimmering with an electric charge. "We can do this! We'll break through!" She reached for Jake, their fingers just a whisper away from connecting, when a dark hand shot up, gripping Jake's wrist like a vice. Bella screamed, a sound bursting from her throat that was part fear and part fury. "Let him go!" she roared, pouring everything she had into that light. It ignited, blazing brighter than before, but the shadows fought back, clawing at the light with mockery. In that frantic moment, she felt a flicker of connection, a pulse, and understood the bond they shared was their greatest weapon, their true essence. "Together! Always!" They both shouted, their voices merging, creating an echo that reverberated through the clearing. But as their powers tangled, the ground shifted beneath them, and one final laugh pierced through the din, a reminder of the true battle they had yet to face. The waters swelled, darkened, and with them came a foreboding mist that rolled over the forest, obscuring everything. Bella gasped, her heart thudding painfully against her ribs. As the shadows coiled tighter, another flicker in the distance pulled her gaze. What lurked just beyond that heavy veil? That moment was the precipice of danger, a cliff from which they could either fall or fly. "Jake, do you see that?" Bella whispered, uncertainty threading her voice. They had no choice but to face whatever darkness loomed. A confrontation was inevitable, but were they prepared to understand the true force of light within them, or would they be swallowed by the shadows chasing them? The answer lay just out of reach, hidden behind the curtain of impending darkness. Bella and Jake stood at the edge of the abyss, their breaths labored as the tension in the air thickened like smoke before a fire. The figure's laughter echoed hauntingly through the clearing, swirling around them like a whirlwind, and Bella felt the shadows wrapping around her ankles, whispering fears that gnawed at her heart. The darkness craved them, wanted to drag them into its cold depths, but they were holding their ground. "Jake!" Bella called, her voice strained but steady. We have to push through together. This is our moment. Whatever happens, I'll be right here, Jake said, determination igniting in his eyes. He stepped closer, the warmth of his presence igniting a flicker of hope within her. With one resolute breath, Bella focused on the light within, the energy that pulsed beneath her skin, waiting to be released. The shadows still coiled menacingly, but she could feel her pulse synchronizing with Jake's, a rhythm that fueled their connection. It was time to embrace the power that flowed through them, to break free from the grasp of despair. In unison, they raised their joined hands, the warmth blooming like a sunrise, chasing the darkness that skittered away in fear. Together! They cried, voices rising above the cacophony. The surge of energy exploded outward, illuminating every crevice of the clearing, the brilliant light banishing shadows that shrieked in retreat. The figure staggered back, ravenous grin faltering as Bella's glow pressed toward him, relentless and raw, exposing the cracks that formed in his sinister facade. You think you've won? This power is but a mere flicker. He spat, regaining his footing, eyes narrowing. Then we'll turn that flicker into a blaze. Bella shouted back, refusing to yield. Her heart thrummed with courage as she concentrated, drawing the light deeper from the earth around them. The air shimmered, and the shadows began to flare and crack, revealing glimpses of what lay beneath. Unseen spirits hovered at the edge of her vision, bright and inviting, their presence affirming the strength of her resolve. They were a part of her, guiding her as she pushed against the consuming pull of darkness. Don't hold back. Let it flow. Jake encouraged, his voice cutting through the chaos like a beacon. With a roar that echoed off the trees, the power surged in ancient energy laced with the wildness of the plains, the soft whispers of the spirits, and the unbreakable bond she shared with Jake. The light flared, swallowing the shadows whole, their dark forms unraveling like fabric torn to shreds, but the figure raised his hands, a desperate look squeezing his expression. You cannot be rid of me so easily. He screamed, and with a violent thrust, unleashed a wave of darkness that threatened to snuff out their light. No! Bella shouted, summoning everything she had left. Jake gripped her hand tightly, their strength merging, the light blazing hotter than ever as they pushed forward, and then, like the dawn breaking through the longest night, they surged together, driving through the darkness with a powerful force that splintered it open. The shadows shattered, the man's scream piercing the air one final time as he was engulfed by the radiant light just before it enveloped everything around them. Bella, Jake whispered, the darkness dissolving like mist under the sun. As the last remnants faded, the air around them settled, the clearing blossoming into vibrant color, flowers emerging where despair once thrived. The echoes of laughter were replaced by a serene quiet, a breath of fresh air free from the weight of dread. They stood together, hearts racing, side by side, gazing at the beauty around them, the wildflowers dancing in the gentle breeze, the lingering warmth of the sun as it brightened the horizon. The weight of fear began to lift, leaving space for something new to bloom. We did it, Bella breathed, a sense of wonder tugging at her lips, her heart swelling with hope. Jake looked at her with awe and pride, the depths of his love shining in his eyes. You did it, Bella. You embraced who you are. You showed your true worth. Tears brimmed in her eyes, warm and grateful. No, we did it together. I couldn't have done this without you. Their fingers intertwined, a promise that echoed in the golden light surrounding them. As they stood together at that edge, looking out toward the horizon as the sun dipped down, she knew this was just the beginning. The shadows might rise again, and challenges would still come, but they had faced the darkness together, and they made it through. She squeezed Jake's hand, a promise resonating in her heart. No matter what lay ahead, they would stand united. Freedom was not just a distant dream, it was alive within them, waiting to unfurl and take flight. Let us ride, Jake said, a glimmer of joy lighting his eyes. Together, they turned to the path ahead, ready to embrace the future, hand in hand. As they walked, the worries of yesterday faded, and the dreams of tomorrow awaited them, alive and thriving. And just like that, a new chapter began, filled with love, courage, and the unwavering bond that tied a cowboy to his true worth. Hey, before you leave, this is your moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to the channel so you don't miss any incredible stories coming your way. Smash that like button to feed the algorithm, and flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this epic conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see where this journey leads. Your participation makes all the difference.